Good afternoon. This is Artie from No More Talk. I want to especially lay some gravity on you today. This morning I was watching Washington Journal, which is the morning talk show call in program on C SPAN. If you have time to turn it on, it's if you're Spectrum, it would be on channel 86, I believe. If you're DirecTV, channel 350, but you can find it C-SPAN. And they had a gentleman on this morning by the name of Jared Alper, who was titled the political director for the quote unquote good party. And his presentation was regarding helping minor candidates get elected in a system that does not allow for that to happen. Of course, No More Talk is very similar to that, except we're not trying to get lower candidates elected, although we have no problem with that. We're trying to change the hierarchy or the upper echelon of our elected government officials by instituting term limits and limited terms. And in short, that simply means your term only lasts 3 years. That can be discussed, but you only get 2 terms. Once your second term is completed, then you have to leave elected office never to return. Go back to your job and live under the laws that you passed while you were in government service. That's right, government service to the American people, not taking money from the American people. This will create an atmosphere where uh, dark money, corruption, lobbyists, and things of that like will cease to be a problem in our country. They will cease to be uh, the cancer that is infecting the hearts and the minds of the American people. So this gentleman was on for a while, and I got out my bag of rocks, and I was getting ready to throw them at the TV, and I decided I would call in, as I have done a few times in the past. And I called into the program and I got on the show and I said to the gentleman, with all due respect, sir, uh, if we don't change the political hierarchy, the structure of our political system, and get the dirty money and the graft and corruption out of politics, nothing that you're talking about is going to mean anything because it's not going to change the destiny, the hopelessness, and the helplessness of the American people. That's why we're mad. We're not mad because Joe Biden is old and can't get up and down the stairs. We're not mad because Donald Trump has his particular character defects. We're mad because most people in this country are struggling, not just because of inflation, not just because of interest rates, but because the people who are in charge of those things are setting it up that way. And one of the things that the people who are in charge are trying to do is keep you and I fighting about what we believe in. And as long as we're distracted in our personal struggles to decide which one of us is right and which one of us is wrong. They get to go ahead and do whatever they want. There's charges against Joe Manchin for corruption, took some gold bars and cars and things for political favors. A couple of guys in Los Angeles, Cuellar was one of them, and I believe his wife as well, taking political corruption money. And it happens on and off over and over again in our country where people who have done the wrong things get dealt with, and that's just the way that kind of runs out. Watching my time, I want to say before we go any further that these are difficult times. There's no question, and we need to do everything that we can. And I want to share with you a couple of things. The reason that this podcast exists is because I wrote a song a few years ago called No More Talk. And it was after the George Floyd murder. And I heard all the talking heads saying things that made sense, but nothing happened. I saw the Watts riots as a very young man, 15, 16 years old. I saw the Watts riots. I saw Los Angeles burning. I was there and saw the news reports about the 57 people who died during the Watts riots. I was there for Rodney King, 1992, and listened to the talking heads discuss what had to be done to make our city safe again. Well, our city hasn't been safe since, and it wasn't safe then. It's not safe now, and so I've been watching. And after George Floyd was killed, I wrote a song called No More Talk. And just, you've seen it a couple of times on the front end of this podcast, and I'll do it again soon. Maybe play it all the way through. But that is that's the genesis of what we're doing here today. Because after I wrote the song, I realized something fairly quickly, and that is that just having a song on YouTube wasn't going to do any change. Wasn't going to make a substantial difference in your life, my life, or the lives of my grandchildren or your grandchildren. And so I decided that I would make the website nomoretalk.com, and with the help of my computer buddy, we put up this website, and you can find it at nomoretalk.com. After the website had been up for a while, I realized that's not going to get it. And I wanted to continue to do more and more to try to change our country. And I want you to know that I'm not delusional. I don't think that in my lifetime I'm going to see that change. But it's important to me, and I hope it's important to you, that we try to make those changes. That's the most important thing. Eventually, if we work hard enough at it and long enough at it, we will make those changes. So after I got the website up, I decided that still wasn't enough, and that was the genesis and the beginning and the formulation of this podcast. And I want you to know that I work without a script. I am not doing this for any money at all. I don't want the money. I don't want recognition. I just simply want your help to try to get this country back on track by changing the Constitution and moving forward. Recently, I realized that this was not enough. The song wasn't enough. The website wasn't enough. The podcast isn't enough. It's all part of it, but it's not enough. And then this morning I realized that I needed to go to Washington, D.C. at my own expense. I'm not asking you for any money. Go to Washington, D.C. and present our ideas to the American people. They could probably give me about a half-hour segment. So what I'm going to do in order to enlist your help and support is in the next podcast, you'll see the phone number of C-SPAN. You'll see the email address for C-SPAN. And I'm going to make a form letter from nomoretalk.com to C-SPAN and simply ask them to give us the time to present our ideas. And I don't know if I'm qualified to do this, but I know that I care enough to give it a try. I know that. So stay tuned. If you want to do this on your own, you can Google C-SPAN Washington Journal and send them an email and say, we want our representative from nomoretalk.com here in California to have a spot on your call-in radio show or television show, and we'll go on from there. I want to thank you all so much for listening. This is so important to me. I have 5 grandchildren who will eventually have children. I know that you have children. And if you don't, you know somebody who does. And we want things to be better for our children than they are now. And I want to thank you again for listening. This is Artie from nomoretalk.com. Thank you.